here at Minisync in the Poconos. Welcome to the Open Studio live stream. Today our studio is outdoors and we already started locking in some of the shapes for this scene. Turning into one of my favorite scenes here. There's always a lot going on. Ducks, deer, hawks, eagles. I wish I'd caught it, but an eagle just crash landed into the bushes near me, probably trying to steal some eggs. My palette set painting in acrylics, ultramarine blue, dioxazine purple, cad red, burnt sienna, yellow ochre, transparent orange oxide, yellow, cad yellow. I've mostly been laying after a quick kind of thin layer of a mixture of transparent orange oxide and yellow ochre to tone the canvas. Been laying in some marks indicating the shadow shapes here. And we're going to go ahead and start adding some colors. And before I do that, we're just going to spray our palette because the conditions here are pretty dry. And I'm using acrylic, thick-bodied acrylic paint, so drying pretty quickly. All right. Let's see, maybe that sky color mixed in so we can key off of the sky color. So I'll mix up some ultramarine blue and titanium white. Maybe put a little yellow ochre in there, maybe not. We'll see. Come back to this a couple times, but you got to get a sense for. Looks like the upper part of the sky. You can see I'm pretty close. It's a little too dark. The lower part of the sky. So a little more white. This might be a little closer because we're gonna have a high horizon for this painting and just a little bit of sky showing, so we don't want it to be too blue. Down there at the horizon, it's going to be more pale, desaturated white. Okay. And we're not going to fuss with this too much because we're going to come over it with some colors for our foliage. Put some of that in the water just to kind of lay down some markers for where those brighter reflections will be. Alright, so now I'm going to go in and mix up some greens, some darker greens. Some yellow ochre, cad yellow, blue, a little bit more blue. Make it a little bit more purple. I'm going to try to avoid using my black paint in this scene, but I might end up coming in later on and using it. Depends how all these colors work together here. So let's see. Just lay in some of the bigger shadow areas, and we're not trying to aim for perfection here by any stretch. So. Some of that down into the water. cooler. Gray it out. And we'll pull that up into the hill here in the background. Push that back into the distance. Over here. Just pop a little bit if this is a little neutral. Neutral and a little cooler. And I don't want to overdo it. Use a little bit of this same color here. Maybe warm it up a little bit. There's the ones here. This will be kind of a patchwork network of lights and darks and warm and cool neutral grays. Kind of see how that's coming together a little bit. Right. I have a tough time managing comments, so if you are commenting, don't think I'm ignoring you. Just have my hands full painting outdoors here at Mini Sink, the Broadhead Creek here in the Pocono Mountains, not far from Delaware Water Gap. Painting on plein air outdoors. Observation, one of my favorite things to do creatively. And one of my favorite places on a beautiful morning, so thanks for joining. This is live stream number 90 something, but on this day, my studio is outdoors. Yeah, we're just blocking in the basic shapes that we see kind of haphazardly, as close as we can, entering what's in front of us, but also hoping to make a decent painting at the end. So we might not aim for photorealism here. It's more likely to aim toward just creating a nice painting that I literally might enjoy hanging up on my refrigerator. This is a magnetized panel here. I'll show you. We have self-adhesive magnet that you can cut, holding this in place in my handheld easel. And this is actually part similar to the kit that I would give to a beginner plein air artist that came out to paint with me. One of my AirBnb plein air experiences, if you were to do that. Okay, and I'm sensing I'm probably going to have to add some black to my palette just to get some of the values as dark as I would like to here. I have my blue and my red, which creates a nice dark purple, and I could add a little bit of burnt sienna, and it'll keep that nice and warm and dark. But sense that I might have to get a little bit of help from my Mars Black later on. That's fine. I'll take it as far as I can here without that. Okay, so we're going to get these darker. To create the illusion of a complicated network of river stones. We're going to go ahead and work in some more greens. So we're going to get, I can't tell because this is so beat up if this is a bright or a filbert brush, but we're going to mix up some brighter greens here. You can use green out of it too, but mixing your own greens kind of helps you modulate the intensity of the green, the value a little bit better. And once you practice it a couple times, it gets a little easier. Yellow and blue, some variation of that. Not putting in the latest greens quite yet. For the end, and be amongst the rest. Highlights. Some colors here. The basic shapes that we see. Trying to paint every leaf, just looking for the big shapes. And we'll get some of that down into the water. Totally erase or paint over those dark areas because those are going to create the illusion of three-dimensionality. Some reds and oranges in there too. Alright, so we can some of this water before we get too far here. Okay. Getting there. Some of this green, I'll gray it a little bit. Into the hill. Just picking up some plenty of the bluish gray and purple gray peeking through because it's going to help keep that small hill and mountain in the background. Keep it pushed back to the landscape here. It's getting there. So getting there pretty good. All right, I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and restate some of the dark areas and then add some of the highlights in the trees and some illusion of detail of branches and rocks, and then some final highlights, and we'll be done. And light's moving really fast. It's about to come over the treetops. So it'll change pretty quickly here. Do this with this brush. Actually mix up some of the lighter, cooler highlight colors. There we go. It's not too far from where they're at. Light highlights on that mountain. Even though it's brighter in real life, I'm indicating in the paper on the painting here. I don't want to pull that forward too much. Highlights down. Distance. I can see I'm definitely gonna have to come through perhaps maybe with a little bit of black, which is okay. Just don't want to overuse it. I know some schools will say black is a no-no, and values. I think sometimes the importance of values will override, in my opinion, any of those kind of rules. If the painting is going to read well, you need to do your best to nail the value, and that's the value relationships. So that relationship between the light areas and the dark areas of a painting. Ooh, jeez, painted my thumb by accident. Um, okay, get a nice thin brush. A really teeny tiny round brush here. And we're going to dip into Mars Black. I put way too much on my palette accidentally. I'm going to mix that in with our purple here. There's areas where vertical planes are meeting horizontal planes, like right up near the bank in some cases, and it's creating almost like an occlusion shadow, which is always going to be the darkest shadow that you'll find in the scene. So we're going to start there. Use the black paint to honor that value relationship. We'll also see that in the bottom of some of the river stones. And we're going to play with these quite a bit before we wrap up. Left the house early today, so we had more time. Also use this paint to suggest some branches. So just tuning in. This is the very same process that we'll follow when we do our plein air workshops. So, for beginners, if you're an experienced plein air painter and you just want to come out, you can bring your own gear and paint whatever medium format size you'd like. But if in instances where beginners come out who either have limited experience, no experience, and they're looking to try plein air painting for the first time, this is almost the exact kit that we'll give them. It's the workshops that we do through AirBnb Experience. They haven't been around for a long time, but they've gotten good reviews. Check that out. If you're traveling through the Pocono Mountain region and this is something that interests you, come join me. A little bit. Typically a pretty peaceful experience. Occasionally wildlife or other humans will have different ideas for us, but this is pretty what you're experiencing here with me right now is pretty typical of the experience. Keep your mind on things and get a little exercise, especially if you're open to a brief hike. It can be a long hike too if you want. Those are fun. So we're getting there, slowly but surely. Now, what I'm gonna do is, I have this black paint. I'm gonna mix up some darker greens. Sometimes you can just mix cad yellow and black and get a nice dark, cool green. We're gonna use that to kind of remember some shadow patterns within amongst the foliage. City water. Lights. This interplay of ripples. With any luck and good timing and good fortune, maybe I'll be able to incorporate some of the ducks that are in view right now. But I'll probably run out of time because I do need to get back to the office. Yeah. I'm liking the way this is working out so far. Back into black here and just occasionally really gonna enhance some of these shadow areas, especially in the foreground. Play with the light a little bit here. Give it another small brush. Mix up some even lighter. Oops. Okay. It's not bad. Reflection. Let's see. And let's see. Mix up a little bit more burnt sienna. Here, lighting up a little bit. Transparent orange, along with the yellow, and some sky blue. Bring this out a little bit and get some more brightest highlights in here. A little bit on the water here. Some of these somewhat strokes with this little brush, suggesting ripples. There we go. And some of those will make their way in here. Some intense highlights here. Just don't want to put this over here because it's leading us off the canvas. But always erase it if I don't like the way it looks. Intense reflections here. So this is pretty good. I desaturate this a little bit. Yellow ochre, a little bit of orange, a little bit of purple, white, maybe yellowish gray. I see some of that in some reflections. Can't for that. Play with that. relax a little bit and you know what we need to do? I use the same brush. Get a little bit of purple and light burnt sienna. Really like green. We have, I'm not sure what kind of trees they are. They might be, I don't know what they are, but we have these trees here. These lighter dark colors. It'll come to me. If you know, maybe put it in the comments. These trees by the rivers with the light colored trunks. I know what they are. It's from the senior movie. I can't remember. They're ancient trees. I don't know. I'm sure that we kind of honor them and show them. All right. And I'm going to go through with using the chain puddle and create a nice light purple. What's this? It's a little too light. I'll gray it out a little bit. Some black. Restate some of the darker patterns. But for the most part, you get the idea. Here, some fallen trees, some of the big stone stones and other things near the shore. Purple gray. Base. We'll go back into our black. I got a real dark version of this. Especially stones that close to the water's edge. Okay. I think we might leave it there. We're in pretty good shape. Maybe a few highlights here and there. Which trees? Catch some light. Across here, nice patterns. That could be. Could be. That's someone out there who knows. Actually, probably flies. Across the surface about to get eaten by a trout. I think we're going to wrap it up there. Nice little plein air painting. Thanks for coming along. We try and do this more often now that the weather's pretty nice. And if you're interested in coming out with me and painting and plein air, let me know. You can find registration on AirBnb Experience if that's something you're interested in. I'll put the link in the video notes here, and you'll find it throughout the channel, referenced throughout the channel. I'd love to have you come join me if that's something you're interested in, whether you're experienced, maybe just looking for a little bit of a guide to help you navigate the Pocono region here, or if you are a beginner and you don't know where to start, you're welcome to come along and I'll show you the ropes so you can do your own Plein Air Adventures and enjoy the peace and the kind of adventure associated with this sort of painting. It's not for everybody, but I sure do enjoy it. You will too. So I think that's it. We'll wrap it up. I hope you have a great day. Hope to see you again next time here on the channel. This little 4x6 plein air painting of Mini Sink, the Broadhead Creek here at Mini Sink, and the beautiful Pocono Mountains. And maybe think that there's somebody in your life that might enjoy this process and maybe a plein air adventure. Feel free to forward this video on to them. Like and subscribe if you're inclined to do so. Thanks again for watching, and I hope you have a great day.